Hi there, my name is Sarah Brothers. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Downtown San Diego Partnership. Today, we're joined by Anthony Tyson, local artist and the implementers of one of our newest projects in the downtown area. But first, before we start our conversation, I would be remiss to not mention that the impetus of us being here is the Downtown Partnership believes strongly that we have a duty to ensure our efforts are promoting equality and addressing systemic injustice and racial discrimination wherever they exist. We acknowledge the inequities in our country that disproportionately affect communities of color and the movement to change the course of unnecessary violence levied against Black communities. We know Black Lives Matter and that we must unite as a community to speak and act against racism and prejudice in any form. In addition to commitments that we've made as an organization, the Downtown Partnership is also working to foster a greater sense of cultural vibrancy through placemaking and special projects like the banner program we're going to discuss today, particularly those that highlight historically disadvantaged cultural institutions and artists. So that first project is a banner program that's going to be highlighted along Broadway, one of downtown's major thoroughfares. And today we're here with Anthony Tyson to get to know him and a little bit more about this project. Hi, Anthony. Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, to get us started, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, and your work in the arts?
My name is Anthony Tyson. I'm not originally from San Diego. I'm not a San Diego native, but it's like a second home for me. I'm originally from Americus, Georgia, small town. And then when I turned 17, I decided, you know what? Let me join the military. Kind of like where I'm from in my community is like a lot of misplaced communities in the country. You kind of really don't have that many options unless you kind of had that advantage given to you already. So for a lot of, Black males like myself, if college is not really your thing or, technical schools, the military is another option to kind of get a grasp on what you want to do with life. And I had no clue. And I know I didn't want to be stagnant because when you become stagnant, everything kind of gets lost. So I've been in the Navy officially 8 years today. Been in the Navy, FC2.
8 years today?
Yeah, 8 years today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm stationed out of Naval Base Coronado right now.
Nice. So how long have you been in San Diego?
I've been in San Diego almost my whole entire career minus school. I got here in 2014 and I've been here ever since.
Awesome. So how did you get involved with the arts along that path?
So I got back from my first deployment and a guy, because I've always been interested into art. I've loved music. I've always had a vision to see beautiful things, nice things, pictures and stuff like that. But really what got me into actually putting it on screen and on camera, or as you can see on banners, is a guy walked up to me and was like, hey, we would love for you to be in this photo shoot to take pictures of clothing with us. And I was like, okay, cool. So I put a shirt on, one of his shirts, took some photos. And then at that time, I was just to the point where I was so happy on being a part of it. I just started sharing it to everybody I know. And I'm very friendly. I know a lot of people. And his sales went up. And it was like, you want to join the team? And I'm like, okay, cool. And then he had the one logo. And I was like, I want to try making a logo for you. And then I made a logo, and then another one, and then another one. And then I'm like, okay, we're in a clothing line together. But then I wanted to start doing my own thing. So I'm like, you know what? I love you. Everything's cool. You can have everything that you have. I'm going to create my own thing now. So I started Southern Renaissance back in 2017. And yeah, that's how I've been getting into my creatives ever since. I could be extremely tired or anything like that. Something like that can just lift me back up and I can be in my spirits. I can work all night on the arts.
Yeah, it restores you.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, I love that. So how did you we talked about the work that you've done in logos. So how did you kind of develop an interest in kind of more graphic design work? Because I know you've done photography work, you've done logo work. How did that interest develop?
So I have the company with Southern Renaissance. We started doing a promotional for events and stuff where we throw open forums, where we throw social events, where we throw things in nightclubs. And to kind of try to trim some money on the budget sometimes for that, I was like, you know what? How about instead of paying this artist, $100-something, I have the program, I have a good eye, let me give it a crack at it so we can kind of maybe trim our budget a little bit better. During trying times. I'm a man of many talent. Let me give this a shot. And it got to a sudden to where I started making like our small town flyers because I was making logos already. I was like, logos and banners kind of go hand in hand to me. Let me use this great app, with Photoshop and Canva. Let me give it a shot, and it worked.
Yeah.
So you just was going from there. So I was doing that for since September of last year, but I wasn't officially doing it until 2020 this year.
So what made you interested in this project? I know that the Call for Artists was put out, so you had a little bit of insight about what it was. So what was it that drew you to this project specifically?
So certain things that I can't really do to really voice my opinion on the matter of, when George Floyd, lost his life to, police brutality. So that was one of my instances on doing this. Okay, cool. Since I can't really be out actively protesting like I want to, okay, let me look at it as maybe like a creative standpoint. Let me see if maybe a banner can show how I'm feeling, where things are going. So that's my first one. Two, just because of the actual meaning of what the contest was for. That's something that I have an extreme passion for. So that was another reason to do it. And three, another one is, I'm extremely nervous, and I know I need to start jumping out and doing more things like this because I have the potential, and I have the talent, and I have the skill. I'm just very hard on myself. I'm such a perfectionist. And one of the people at at the partnership was like, just try it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, if they're doing something that you don't like, you can just walk away. But I want you to give this an honest effort, give it an honest shot because you have the talent and the skill to do it. So that's what I did. And
yeah, taking a bet on yourself.
Yeah.
And your skill and using the inspiration of, a message that you care about to take that chance.
Absolutely.
Is really cool.
Yes, it
really
is.
Cool. And I know you mentioned George Floyd, and we recognize that one project is not going to bring George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and so many others who are victims of racism and violence back, but we hope that to help inspire dialogue and discussion through visual expression. That's a tool that's available to a lot of artists right now, and that we've seen throughout the country. So these types of senseless killings won't happen again. What are you hoping to inspire with these banners? What message are you wanting to leave people who see them with?
So when you see the banner, I want you to see the color. That's the biggest thing, because everybody always look at stuff as so much black and white. That's why I've illustrated so much color into those banners. You've seen the colors with even in the photos or even in the actual text. I use very loud and very vibrant colors. Red stands out. I wanted to show you that it's not just black and white. There are different ways. There are different colors, same as it is different people. In the same way that we look at these colors, we must accept these different types of people. It just is how it is. There's no way to shape it or form it. You can't tell red to be another color. That's not how it works. You must accept red for who it is right when you see it. Same thing goes for color. Same thing goes for race, age, preference, their past, their future. It doesn't matter. Like, we must accept them for who they are. They just are. We are who we are. And I think that's the biggest thing that comes from it. That term of Black Lives Matter is so political to so many people when it's not. It's literally just a statement of saying, hey, our lives matter. We get the other lives and everything that y'all have going on. That's cool. That's fine. That's dandy. But right now, y'all lives are not affected. Red is not being affected right now. It's the blue. It's the yellow. It's the black. It's like those colors are being affected. When y'all are having a problem, okay, cool. We will fight and stand together and do what we need to do. But right now, because of police brutality, Black, the Hispanic community as well are being targeted. They're being affected. And systemic racism it's been going on forever. And also, I just want to give people an opportunity because, people are so scared to do projects like this, especially with, people that is not our color, because it feels like that y'all are using it as some type of kind of like a marketing device. Be like, oh yeah, we care. Keep buying our product, keep buying our stuff. When it's not like that. There are actually people out there who actually care and want to do whatever they can show within their means to kind of help. So that's how I took it as well, because y'all have a outlet and you wanted somebody to come in and utilize that outlet. And I felt like, okay, cool, let me give this a shot.
So what drew you to the 3 images you selected that are actually featured on the banners themselves?
Because I can't really speak on anybody else's story, anyone else's tales. Those three things, kind of the three things that surrounds my life right now. I'll start first with the black man that's looking, straight forward. He's not looking behind him. He's not trying to look around about what's going on. He's looking forward. Even though with everything that's going on or whatever he has going on, I look at that as he was looking forward. That's why I selected that image. The second image is the man and the child, because I do hope one day to have a family. What we're doing right now is going to shape our future. And I want my child to have a better life than what I had, because I've dealt with, not like encounter, absolutely not like how it was for George Floyd, of course, but I've had it to where I've been pulled over for no reason at all, just because I was black riding in a nice car. That has happened before. I'm being in the wrong neighborhood. That has happened before. They've held me because I didn't have a license and then they thought I was a suspect. That has happened before. Luckily, it has not turned violent, but just those staples of them targeting is something that we need to stop. But if you could take a step back, maybe 20 to 30 years, and like in the Ronald Reagan era, or, in that era where my father grew up in, he dealt with the police like that, So he made steps to make sure at least where I'm at was better than where he was. So I want to do the same thing for my child once I have a son or I have a daughter, that they don't deal with the same things that I dealt with. That, racism and police brutality can be eradicated, or at best, where I'm at right now is not the same when it gets to it's time for their turn and they're at 25, 26 years old. And finally, the women. This is a very touchy subject for me, because a black woman is one of the most underrated, like, just people just do black women just so wrong, man. It's a big thing for me, because I'm a mama's boy. Like, I had my father in my life, but predominantly I had my mother. Most of my life I lived with my mother most of the time. I have 5 sisters, only have 1 brother. So taking care of a black woman for me has always been priority number 1, especially with me being in the house with my mom and my actual sisters, not my half sisters. Like, my half sisters were younger than me. They were twins as well too. They were 3 years younger than me. So I was the man of the house. So my priority every day, every morning, was to make sure that the women in the house was good. Like, if we needed to get something done, okay, cool. Let me see if I can make something happen, and the women be taken care of. If anybody picked on my baby sisters, I don't care who you are, you're going to get handled. So now seeing how it is over there in Georgia, and then I'm coming over to experiencing different cultures and seeing different ways, they don't respect the black women the way that I do. And it hurts, because I hear so many stories and so many tales about, victims of, sexual assault, violence, crime. They deal with their shares of police encounters the way that black men do, and they don't even bat an eye to it, So I really wanted to show the embodiment and the spirit of a black woman in that photo. That's why that photo of the woman is so powerful, and that was one of my favorite photos that I chosen, because that's how I feel like a woman should be. Head up to the sky, powerful, in his original body, his original skin. That's what the enigma of that was for me.
So what should people know about celebrating the work of Black artists? Because I know that's something that was really important to you when we were first talking about this, and something I'd love to hear your perspective on.
I feel like that we need to start giving Black artists credit, legit credit, not look at what we do and what we create and what we make as a fad. I think that's what we was talking about. We need to get legit credit, because there's been so many things that have been done in the past by Black artists, by Black musicians, by Black things, and like, oh, that's just gonna be a fad. And then another person picks up on it, and then all of a sudden that's the rage and the sensation that's going on. Like, oh, he's the creator of this. No, he wasn't. He grabbed something that was a fad at the time, and then all of a sudden it made a career for that person, and now that person is in a rock and roll hall of fame, or a pop hall of fame, or a country hall of fame, when it was just a fad back in the day originally for, for Black people. Like, oh, you looked at it as a fad. now, and that's going recently into social media as well. Some of the favorite things that we like on social media right now was created by a Black artist, a Black creator. No matter how you want to shape it or put it, those type of guys, there are creators, there are artists. No matter how goofy, no matter how funny, no matter how, you know, crazy it is, they are technically Black creators, and they look at everything as just a fad. But then once, a person of, not a person of color, picks up on it, now all of a sudden it gets on, television, Sports Center, CNN and stuff like that. I'm like, he's not the one that started it though. It was a fad at first. Like it wasn't supposed to last that long. And, other people, they get careers off of this. Like,
yeah,
I think it's just getting honest credit for Black creators, like legit credit for Black creators. And if they're not going to get the credit, then at least get their compensation for it.
So Anthony, I would be totally remiss to end our conversation without letting people know, where can they find your work and you and things that you create?
So I have like multitude of just a crazy amount of areas. Predominantly, you can always go to my website. That's like my hub of everything. Is www.wethesouth.me. That's WETHESOUTH.me. That's my website. It has my clothing. It has a blog. Has everything to do with my events and everything on like that. And then also you can go to my social media at The Southern Sultan. That's TheSouthernSultan.
Look at Anthony's work, check out his events and his, logo work and his marketing work. Anthony, we're so happy that you decided to share your talent with the downtown community, and partnering with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. God bless. Stay safe, everyone.
Will do.